This episode has been brought to you by Manscaped. The new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Go to manscaped.com, use the code GOLTS20 for 20% off plus free shipping today. This week on the Heart of the Gulch YouTube show, we sit down with musician/songwriter Andrea Vasquez. In today's Walk the Line episode, Andrea gives us an amazing performance of her latest single, Waste of Gas. Let's check out the episode. We are in the Heart of the Gulch. I'm your host, Tony Mendoza, and today I'm very excited for my guest. We got Andrea Vasquez in the building. What's going on?
Hello. It's so good to be back.
I know, seriously. And this time when you're back, you're releasing a music video today.
Yeah.
This is like in the future.
Yeah, it is
Monday.
the future.
Let's
I love
go.
It.
Hey, Waste of Gas. Talk to me about putting together this music video.
So the video, funny enough, actually, so this is directed by Jessica Amerson. She has honestly done pretty much everything that I've put out. Jessica's amazing. But when we shot the music video for Moving Target last year, we did that in like 17-degree weather. We almost did that this year too. It was like 20-degree weather. We were like,
It's getting hotter.
Yeah, a little bit, but I had less thick layers this time. So I'm like dry. It was pretty brutal. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I think we've decided that we are not going to shoot anything outside past October. Like that's the cutoff.
Well, you know, speaking of Moving Target, shout out to you because last time we filmed, we didn't have all the information that we have today because Moving Target had a music video, went on Billboard. Was it also Rolling Stone?
Solo, the next single did, yes.
Oh my.
Rolling Stone, but we got Music Row, Billboard, and I feel like there's something else that happened. I mean, it actually was on CMT. The music video made it on CMT on the top 8 12-pack countdown. It was there for like 4 weeks.
Dude.
Made it top 3 one year, which was
Come
really
on.
cool. Or not 1 year, 1 week, but it was pretty cool.
You know, it's so amazing to see with that music video, before we get back to Waste of Gas, when we talk about Moving Target, you're talking about the layers. Every time I see you, whether it's in Anzi Blue or it's anywhere out, you always dress up to the T. So talk to me about that iconic jacket that you're wearing in that music video.
That iconic jacket, I was like, I think I'm just going to rent it. No, I kept it. I have a shopping addiction. It's pretty bad.
Talk to me about, as you were creating all these music videos, what goes in your mind? Are you super visual where you know exactly what you want to have it out in the world, or do you work with the director? How do you go about making these music videos?
So we've always kept everything very, I wouldn't say DIY. No, it's been pretty DIY. You know, when we did the first video I got on CMT, I think that was the bed you made, but when we did Made Me Cry, if you look at the video, you're like, oh my gosh, that seems like a really cool, like fun, pink, sparkly backdrop. It was the corner of my dining room. We moved everything. We covered it with like streamers and disco balls, and like I couldn't go too much this way or that way because it would be, you know, like the end of the countertop. It was just wild.
Be too close. Yeah,
too close. So we always do everything very DIY. We've upgraded our game, you know, in the last couple years.
Well, they look very good.
Thank you. That's all Jessica. She's a phenomenal director, creative. I mean, I love her. She's like a ride or die. But every time we have a concept for a video, we start like a little Pinterest board or a little mood board of kind of the vibes that we're going for. And that always helps me kind of style the shoot. I love to do my own glam, and I have so much fun just putting outfits together and all of that. And it was a blast. But for Waste of Gas, I partnered up with my friends over at Rag & Bone, and they styled me. So
who doesn't love
cool.
Rag & Bone?
Amazing.
Come on now. Now, I want to go back a little bit, back to the beginning when you were playing violin and all the other instruments. So talk to me about what it's like, you know, growing up. It was in LA, right? Talk to me about what it was like growing up in LA.
So I grew up in a very musical family. My dad played the guitar. He was in a band, you know. He still plays the guitar till this day. But me and my cousins, we're all like besties. I mean, Latino families. We're all besties.
In the
built-in
best
best
way,
friends.
the best way and the worst way.
Very true.
Latinos and what's the chismo? Too much chismo or chisme. Más o menos, same thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, you're absolutely right. Latino families, we are just too nosy for our own good.
Beyond.
And you know what's interesting to me is that our heritage kind of at the time was all about it, right? Like we were all about having a big family because our families, Latinos and Latinas, our families would all gather together and help each other out.
Yeah.
We're going to be the generation
that has like
stops
one.
That. Exactly.
We're like, nope, just stops at like one or two. Yeah. No, totally. But that being said, my cousins and us were just super musical from a very young age. My sister and I played violin when we were super little. I cannot play the violin anymore. That stopped probably at like age 6 or 7. But from there, went on to piano, went on to guitar, did voice lessons. I was a dancer, so always loved performing. I just knew that was my thing. My sister was big into sports. That was never my thing. So I was the more creative one in that realm. But yeah, my cousins, I mean, we were probably in like, it was like the age where we were all into still wearing etnies and being like skaters, but not really skaters. Thank God I do not have access to my MySpace photos anymore. Thank God.
Rest in peace to MySpace. I looked mine up. Have you ever tried to look yours up?
I've tried to, but nothing's come up. Can you look?
God, yes. I don't want to say. The young Tony Mendoza that was growing up, terrible.
There's like some sketchy pictures from like basement parties. Like you don't want to see that.
Oh, mine was like, you remember when, oh my God, I might cut this later, but I may not. Photos of guys when we were growing up trying to be like sex symbols, and we would take pictures like in front of, I'm going to cut this out for sure. In front of the mirror with like your shirt off with no muscles. That used to be a thing.
Just like a stick.
It was a stick. And we thought we were we were flexing so hard like that. And you're like, yeah, I'm definitely cutting this out. But all right, we'll bring it back.
Yeah. No, but that being said, it was like that middle school era where my cousins started playing. I don't remember how it started, but they started a band, We got, that was my first experience with like learning to record, and we'd all teach each other stuff. So to this day, we all kind of, now that we're older and are, chasing careers, some of us are still in a band. I pursue country music. I have one of the sisters, she's now a Latin singer, and one of my cousins mixes all my songs, and so-and-so does all the audio engineering of this, and so-and-so is a lighting director for, Volt Lights. They do everything. And so...
Oh, I didn't see you guys there. Hey, if you're enjoying the content that we provide, please consider subscribing to our Heart of the Gulch YouTube show. Hit the subscribe button that's right in front of you, or hit the Heart of the Gulch logo over here in the corner. And of course, like magic, hit the recommended subscribe button that's over here in the banner. We would love to have you guys here at the Heart of the Gulch YouTube channel, and let's get you back onto that interview right now. What's it like here in Nashville to have a community that we're all chasing the same dream, but it's different because Nashville's home of so many other backgrounds and cultural backgrounds, but it seems like we like to form in our group too. Yeah,
I actually have a really great group of girlfriends, all Latina country artists, we don't actually all do country, but we're all Latina artists here in Nashville, and we have like our own little Latina brunch club. It's so fun, and that kind of inspired me and my good friend Angie K to decide to partner up and do this podcast called Latina Nashville. So I'm trying to highlight as many Latin creatives. Right now we're just sticking with musicians, but I want to kind of reach outside of that and just kind of grow that, and that's ultimately how we're going to make change. But these are not conversations that were happening 8 years ago when I moved here.
Isn't that crazy that as Nashville's grown into a community where everyone's coming from all over the United States to come here. So that means you're bringing so many different types of nationalities and ethnicities and cultural types of vibrancy here in the city. Yeah. Now, I want to ask you, when you were growing up, who was your person that you would listen to the most growing up, music-wise?
That's a loaded question because I listen to literally everything. So if it's 90s country, I was a big Shania girl, big Dixie Chicks fan, huge Martina McBride fan, huge Faith Hill fan. Like those are my girls. I'm a big pop girl. Britney Spears is my girl. A lot of Latin pop. Thalia was my girl. Selena was my girl. You know, just listen to a little bit of everything. And I think that's healthy to listen to everything.
You know, I think people don't do that enough.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, we had Daddy Yankee was our Bad Bunny.
Oh my God. You asked me what I'm listening to now. It's Bad Bunny on repeat all the time.
What do you think of his latest album?
Obsessed.
Right?
Obsessed. It's a masterpiece. I mean, we can really just talk about that the rest of this podcast and I'd be fine with that.
I'm going to ask a couple questions about it for sure. What's your favorite song?
AO.
Really?
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? That one.
That's not mine.
That one's crazy. What's yours?
No, wait. I got to go deeper into the lore here. So why is that your favorite?
I love perreo. That's why.
Well,
it makes you dance. It's a crime. It came out in the coldest season. I was like, this is not fair. I should be at the club.
You know what? Shout out to Bad Bunny, because if Bad Bunny didn't release his album at the time that he did, I would be nowhere ready for the beach. I'm ready. Yes, 100%.
No, I'm like, how do I get to Puerto Rico? I need to go to the tour.
That was where I was going to go in the top of this year. I was going to go to Puerto Rico until Bad Bunny released. And
I think I'm going to try to go this summer. I'm not kidding.
Everyone is, though. That's why I'm not trying to go to Puerto Rico no more.
I don't know. I'm trying to do it.
Mine is Baila.
That's a good one.
Oh my gosh. When you bring the entire flavor of Puerto Rican music in one song, being sad about, I want to show you how to dance. I just want to take you there. It's one of the best songs I've ever heard from Bad Bunny.
I mean, the whole thing, it was just so cool to see how he brought out all these local musicians from Puerto Rico. And then I've seen the visuals that he did a really, really cool visual that just was very, very deep. It was, and I know I was like, we're going so off topic, but I love that we're doing this. And it kind of ties into this whole Latin movement, but it was a commercial, or kind of had to do with like the album, where this old little man who only speaks Spanish is going into a coffee shop and he's trying to order his favorite drink, and the girl at the counter is like an American who's taken over the island and was like, what? I don't understand you. And it's just like, oh my gosh, it made me cry. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm like being, you know why I think it hurts? You know why it hurts is because
it
resonates with our grandparents.
And it also resonates with us today. People that are watching this that are Latino, Latina, I guarantee you know someone that doesn't speak Spanish. And I don't know what happened to our generation. Our generation, I think it's because my parents told me when they were growing up in San Antonio, they didn't speak Spanish. They didn't teach me Spanish as my first language because they were made fun of.
I actually know a lot of friends that had that same exact experience. I grew up, growing up in Southern California, even your American friends speak Spanish because, San Diego, LA, like...
It's infused.
It's just infused in their culture. But that's funny that you say that. I have a lot of friends that are also Mexican American, and they grew up in different parts where their parents didn't teach it to them because they're like, we don't want to be... You didn't want to...
I think my parents thought of it like they didn't want us to have an accent as the first thing. And by doing that, it's so important to teach your young kids a different language from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you can integrate it in and out as you get older. But that is the one thing that I'm a little sad about, that I didn't learn Spanish the way I should have. But I learned it all in the cocina. Everything inside the kitchen. I know words. I didn't know what sandia was. I still don't call it watermelon.
You had to think about it. You're like, what's
I call it sandia.
Yeah.
And it's something that I just grew up on. But speaking of your favorite type of country music and country artists, I'm not going to let you walk away here without talking about Selena.
She's a queen. I think that I had just released the Selena country cover when I came here last.
That's what we were talking about. It was a lot more Selena based.
Yes. I think that had just pretty much happened.
So talk to me about Selena, though. What is your going from Bad Bunny, from Daddy Yankee, Gasolina? Now tell me what's your favorite from Selena.
I'm not going to say Si Una Vez. I would probably say... I will say I Could Fall in Love is a pretty great one. I have a good friend, Valerie Ponzio. She's another country artist. She does a really beautiful cover. And I'm always just like, wow. That song is like that's a that's a bop.
Doesn't it seem that like in the 90s that female musicians really took the front stage, and how it kind of transformed you today into the woman that you're becoming?
Yes, I absolutely do. And I mean, I'm even in the generation where I got to watch Carrie Underwood win Idol and become who she is. I also was the generation that grew up with Taylor Swift being only a couple years older than me and watching her go from like a normal high school kid to superstardom. So I think that those inspiring stories in front of you were just like, I could do that too.
It was instilled from Britney Spears days. When we were growing up and Britney Spears became a pop legend. There's nothing wrong to say that Britney Spears is a pop legend.
She is a pop legend.
I don't know what happened though along the way, but that's a lot of people in the 90s for some weird reason. Everyone kind of lost their way and starting to gain their footing back together. But before we start talking more about your music, because we are going to talk about it after this break, talking about getting our footing back together, shout out to the people that are keeping the lights on in this show, and we'll be right back with Andrea right after this. This episode has been brought to you by Manscaped. The new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Go to manscaped.com, use the code GOLTS20 for 20% off plus free shipping today. Off air, we're talking about how Waste of Gas is going to be located all over the internet. Do you feel like it's going to have the exact, if not a better, impact than Moving Target?
I don't want to jinx anything.
Oh, yeah.
But I hope so. I think so. I think you just have to keep your expectations at I don't want to say low expectations, but I'm just ready for whatever comes our way. But it'll make its way on the CMT 12-pack countdown. So everybody watching this better go vote.
Ooh. So talk to me about the importance of that. So when you're talking about the CMT countdown and voting, what does that do for that music video?
So that just gets it on the countdown. So the last time we were able to get it on the 12-pack countdown for like 4 weeks, and it was at number 8 consistently. Then I think it did 5, then it did 3, and then back to 8. Just healthy numbers for an independent artist. And, you know, other people that were also releasing music videos at the time were like Miranda Lambert and, you know, people that I've looked up to, which was just crazy. So
is it, it's very unique that you're releasing a music video on a Monday. From what I've learned in Nashville, Friday is typically the release day for all music videos. So I'm curious to know why Monday or today.
We didn't really have a rhyme or reason.
Okay.
But it's the day that we picked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would think that you would actually get a lot more traction out of that, because so much music comes out usually on Friday that Monday is kind of those days where like it's kind of a dead zone for a lot of music.
Yeah, it's like get their attention, you know? Hopefully on your feed it's all Wasted Gas and St. Patty's Day.
Wasted Gas is one of those songs that, you know, you talk about, you know, going through stages in a relationship. I don't know if I want to go back there. And that's what you mean by waste of gas. So what inspired you to write that song?
When we went into this write, we had this idea of going back to somebody's house that you shouldn't, or, you know, going to see somebody that you shouldn't. And we're like, girl, it's a waste of gas. And then that was just the genius idea that we had.
When you come up with these songs and these song titles, do you think of it from a standpoint of melody? Do you think of it from just, you know, do you think of the title first before you go into the write? Or do you come up with a whole story before you come up with the title? What's your writing style like?
I feel like we usually are like, what are we feeling today? Are we feeling something sad? Are we feeling something vibey? Because these two co-writers of mine are good friends, we kind of maybe have a texting thread beforehand where we're kind of saying like, these are some ideas for today. I think that we're like, we want to write something sassy. And then I think it started off with, because Aton plays keys, we were kind of just playing around on the keys with like a melody, and then that's where it kind of just all pieced together. And then I think with us saying waste of gas, that was very obvious that was going to be the title.
I love that. Now, speaking of titles and music, I'm assuming that you got some more music down the pipeline.
I sure do.
Can you let us know what you got plans coming up, you know, this year? I'm guessing there's got to be another single, and I'm guessing you may be putting out an EP or an album at some point this year.
So right now I have written enough songs, definitely more than enough songs for an album. So that's what the big picture plan is going to be. But I am going to be releasing an EP later this summer called El Camino. And the way that this all kind of came together is kind of crazy. The next single that I'm going to be releasing is called Everything I Wish I Did. So I've teased it on my socials, but there's a line that we said, she's in your riding shotgun seat in your Chevy El Camino. That's it. We wrote that years ago. And then we wrote another song. I co-wrote a song with my good friend Bailey Morgan that she's going to release soon called NASCAR Trek. That's another song about a car. Then I think we wrote Wasted Gas, another song about a car. Then we co-wrote another song called El Camino. And we're like, what's up with this weird car theme that we have going on? Then I got a song called Run with the Wind, where we talk about where she's driving. And I'm like, this is all going to be a really cool visual when it's a complete project. So we're going to just start with the El Camino EP, and I think it just makes sense.
Wow. So the title of the EP, El Camino, is from a line from this next...
Forever ago. Yeah,
wow.
For the next song, which is just so weird. I mean, I'm not a car person either. I drive a Jetta.
I'm going to go deep into my theory about that. So my younger sister, she got in she had a flat tire. So she calls me, right? She said, hey, can you come and help me fix a flat tire? She doesn't know anything about cars completely. I get it. Now, she calls me. We're down the side of the highway. We're in the corner somewhere. And she calls me, and I do exactly what my Latino dad did. He said, hey, I'm here for moral support. I'm going to walk you through this. And she's like, wait, you're not going to do it? No, Amanda, you're going to do it. I'm going to be here to help you if you need help.
Oh my gosh, you had her do it?
Come on. That's what my parents did to me.
But we're girls.
But see, that's why she called me. That's why she called the oldest brother, because she thought I was going to do it. Love you, Amanda.
No.
I've seen you play in so many rounds. I've seen you do Anzi Blue. Shout out to the folks that do Anzi Blue, because they do such a great job.
Love them.
They really empower female musicians.
Mm-hmm. Female-owned venue. Marcy over there is incredible. The whole staff is awesome. I did my album release showcase there, and then they invited me back. They're like, do you want to come back as like as a regular? And the first thought, I think when I told Nicole, my publicist, I was like, I wonder how much my family and friends drank, because they're like, please come back.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm totally kidding. But, well, not really kidding. But then we're like, I don't know if we're going to do every month or every other month. Let's do every quarter. So then that way that I can just carefully curate a lineup every single time. And I've just been inviting some friends on these lineups that I really, really care about. And, a lot of them are females, because I want to empower females, but they're just badasses that need to be heard. So that's kind of what I think about when I'm putting together these lineups.
But do you ever get nervous performing next to these amazing ladies and sometimes guys around you that can sing just as well as you can?
Not really. I just think it makes it more fun. We've kind of played around with the format of these rounds too, or these shows, where I feel like in the winter it really works well, where everybody's like, I don't really want to be out of my house too long. I want to maximize my time. So I've been making it a round so that you're there for all the artists the whole time. Maybe in the spring, summer, we do these rounds, or the way that I change the format of the show, it's like everybody gets a good 20, 25 minutes to put either an acoustic or stripped set. It sounds great full band at that venue, but it's also a very intimate venue that I kind of prefer people to make it more acoustic and just make it more lax. But it's just, I love that place so much. What's
been one of your favorite venues in Nashville, Tennessee, outside of Ansi Blue?
I love the Listening Room. I'm a regular there, and the sound is incredible. You always just meet the coolest people that are just traveling from, I won't even see the country anymore. There's always people who are like, I'm traveling from the UK, I'm here from Canada. So it's just really cool. I just love the Listening Room so much.
What was the nicest thing a fan's ever done for you?
Buy my merch.
Hey, that's important. A lot of people don't realize how expensive it is to drop music. It's not cheap to drop music, and especially producing it and all the things that you give out to this world. What is the number one thing that everyone can do right now to support your music?
Buy my merch. If you want to, stream my stuff, add it to your playlist. I know streams are not exactly the moneymaker of the business, but every little bit counts.
You know, what was some of the coolest playlists that you've been on?
I've been on Fresh Finds Country.
That's big.
I've been on today's, I don't know the name of it. It's the Apple one. It's today's country hits, today's top country. I don't know. I've been on some really cool ones through Apple and Spotify. And then last year it was Treble Music. I was like on the cover of it. I was like, okay, that's cool.
It's because you have an awesome look.
It was the jacket.
It was the jacket
and the hat.
But speaking of which, though, how was WSMV? And did you speak to Erin? She's
so sweet. I loved her. So I actually we premiered Wasted Gas with her the night before the song came out, I think.
Okay.
And then and I got to play a song with her too, and it was just one of those moments where I'm like, I'm staring at the Opry as I'm doing this. This is kind of, let's try not to mess up the words because I'm kind of getting sidetracked as I'm just staring at the Opry because that's just such a bucket list for me. But that was amazing. And then you mentioned Rock and Review there. That was, Eric over there was so kind. So that was a really cool interview.
Aaron, Eric, all those guys are
great.
Absolutely amazing. But you're absolutely right. When you're performing and when you're doing your interview in this radio station, it's a clear glass window and you can see the Opry right across the street. And then also you can see fans.
Yes, there was a whole group of people doing a tour and I'm part of their tour. And I'm like, okay, this is just added pressure.
Yeah, you kind of feel like
this could really mess up their tour.
No. It adds to other elements to the tour.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Would you say that's one of your goals for either this year or next is to play the Grand Ole Opry debut?
Hands down. Yeah, that would probably be, that's up there.
That's definitely up there. And what do you think when you're thinking about all these stages that you want to play? I mean, talk about CMA Fest. CMA Fest is coming up.
Yeah.
You doing anything for CMA Fest?
I sure am.
Let us know.
I sure will. I can't disclose any deets yet,
okay.
But yeah, we'll be doing some cool stuff with CMA Fest.
See, we got Nicole in the house and she gives us the looks.
She's the keeper.
She's the keeper of what we can say. So shout out to Nicole back here.
She's like
exactly. So outside of CMA Fest and the shows, I mean, what's some of your most embarrassing moments that's ever happened at a show?
Embarrassing moments at a show? I don't really know how to even start because honestly, I'm not someone that gets like that embarrassed. I laugh at everything for one, and I'm really quick to laugh at myself too. So nothing really comes to mind yet.
Yet?
What's
up with you and jinxes? I don't want you jinxing anything.
I'm not. I'm hoping. This is the second or third time we've done this.
I want to play this game. Speaking of unpredictable situations, I got to spin the wheel right here.
Okay.
And you spin it, hold it up, put it like right here, and give it a good spin, and let's see what question you got.
Okay. Favorite gig story and why? It's not exactly like one situation, but I did the Nashville Hits the Roof tour 2 years ago almost, which is just, again, time's flying. But we went to Columbia, South Carolina. I had zero expectations about it.
Yeah.
It was the coolest little town. And my bandmates, who I just love and adore so much, I mean, we just honestly just like acted like complete idiots after the show. Not in a bad way, but like it was like a college town and we're just like so out of place in a way. And we just had a blast. And it's like a fun road trip with all your buddies. And then you guys are going to the next city and the next city. So I feel like that leg of that tour where we were in the Carolinas was really, really fun. And we got to go to Raleigh and see friends. And it was just a good time.
That whole area of the United States is just filled with...
So underrated.
So underrated.
Yeah. We had a blast. We went to Myrtle Beach and we like ended the last night just like all chilling on the beach. I'm like, that can't get better than this.
What is your perfect scenario with either writing music or performing? Are you in the beach area? Are you in the mountains area? Or are you just like at a house just performing for kind of like us, just like three people?
I love playing bigger shows. I just get such an adrenaline rush when it's like a big full band situation. Writing, I mean, I don't know. It just a little bit of everything.
What's the biggest show you've ever done?
I played Country Jam Colorado years ago, and I was on the same bill as Brad Paisley and Blake Shelton, so that wasn't a bad gig.
When you see that many people out and you step on stage, whether it's 200 or 2,000, 20,000, what is going through your mind?
Honestly, okay, so this kind of loops into your last question. I get more nervous when it's a small, intimate show. I get 20 times more nervous if there's people that I know there.
Really?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because you're judging me. You know what I mean? But if you're just 2,000 strangers, I'm never going to hear about it again.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah. So, I mean, the craziest thing is when, you start to date somebody or whatever, and they're like, oh, I'm bringing my friends. You're like, this is actually like the most high pressure situation possible because I don't know what they're going to think,
I going back to your rounds and when you put rounds together, sometimes those performers have heard you sing a song 100 times and they know when you stumble on a word.
Oh, she messed up. Oh, she did this. Yeah.
Do you like it when you're in a round and someone fiddles or someone plays alongside you while you're singing a song?
Yeah. It doesn't hurt. Yeah.
It's interesting because I know people that dislike it a lot. When someone plays, they start fiddling around and they start playing while the other person's playing.
I mean, don't have a whole guitar solo or something wild, but hey, I'm sure that happens. I know it happens.
Well, let's do 2 more of these. So come on, bring it up. Give it a good spin this time.
What is your skincare routine? Please
let us all know.
Okay.
Because you're glowing right now.
Okay, thank you. So, fun fact, I don't know if you knew this, I worked in plastic surgery and in med spas for 10 years.
No, I never would have guessed that.
Are you being serious?
I'm serious. You look great. What do you mean?
Thank you. It's, I'm not taboo about it at all. I mean, I do lasers and Botox and all the things. You have to go to somebody who's board certified if you're watching. Please, for the love of God, do your research as to who's putting stuff in your face because I get people being like, should I go here? And I'll look it up. And I'm like, absolutely not.
What's the no-go?
I mean, you don't want just... I mean, you have to really, really do your research. You can't just be going to
because you're putting something in your body. So I would assume that you have to do so much research behind that. But keep going down this train. So skincare routine, talk about it.
Skincare routine. So I'm a big Skin Farm girl. I love Revision Skincare and I love Skin Medica. Morning routine. I cleanse. I do glow pads, which is Koji serum, Koji pads. They brighten and even out your complexion. I was born in the 90s. You got to be using your eye creams, your vitamin C's, your retinols, and never, ever, 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 ever go to bed with your makeup on because that's just as bad as chain smoking.
Have you changed the color of your lights yet? So this is something my girlfriend has taught me. If you have a red light before you go to bed, it's supposed to do some magical effect.
Like the red light masks?
No, see,
those are
we're
magic.
No. So no, I'm dead serious. When we go to bed, there's a red light, and I feel like I'm in Dracula's lair when I go to bed.
I have seen that.
But she says that there's some kind of magic behind it.
I need to find out more about this.
Okay, well then, it's another thing that as a guy, right, talking about skincare, I don't really have a routine. But another thing I've learned about, and I may cut this, I may not, gua sha?
Gua sha.
Talk to me about the gua sha.
I don't personally really do that, but I do like the ice rolling.
Yeah, she has that too. She has one inside the fridge right now.
It's in my fridge. Yep. And then it just kind of depuffs you. It's perfect after a night where you've just been indulging in the red wine. You got to do it.
Just tell me significant other and what would be a major turn on if they had a skincare routine, what would it be in that skincare routine that they do?
I mean, just washing their face, not with a body wash,
So if that person has a 5-to-1 soap, what do you think?
We got to have a conversation.
Hey, it's a true thing. I've known a lot of people in my time with a 5-to-1 soap. All right, let's pour another one of those. Ooh.
Top 3 favorite non-country albums. Okay. Non-country.
Non-country albums. Your favorite non-country albums. Top 3.
Okay. This is a hard question, but I'm probably going to, these are, I mean, I don't have the time to like think about way back then, but I'm going to have to say Harry Styles' album that won Album of the Year at the Grammys, maybe in 2023, I think,
Okay.
question mark.
I like that.
That album was incredible. I would also say same year, Verano Sin Ti by Bad Bunny. That album was chef's kiss start to finish. And then I'm going to probably say
Bring it back one. Bring it back. Bring it old school. Old school. You know it.
Taylor Swift's Fearless album. Crap, that's a country album.
Yeah, it is a country album. Can't use that one. Go back.
We're going to go with, okay. Taylor Swift 1989.
Fair enough. That is not a country album. That's the first pop album, right? Mm-hmm. You know, speaking of the Swifties out there, and shout out to the Swifties that are watching this, what are your thoughts on Taylor Swift and also, you know, just what she did in country music this past 2 years?
I think that, first of all, she just really blew up the genre for a new generation, whether people like to give her credit for that or not, but she really did kind of bring in this new generation of country fans. Even people who weren't really into country, they kind of tapped into it. And I mean, I went to the Eras tour and it was just insane. I was a fan, right? I was a fan. I grew up loving her music when I was much younger. And my friend invited me to the tour, the Eras tour here in Nashville. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. Let's get tickets. I just don't want to break the bank, like, because I didn't really know what to expect. When I got there, start to finish, I was like, this is insane.
Yeah, that's probably
insane.
It's one of those tours in our life that you'll look back on and you'll be like, wow, like that was a moment in time. When Taylor Swift came to Nashville, Tennessee, specifically this town, did you hear that she brought in a whole nother city with her?
Yes.
Like, I think it was over like 500 or 5 to 800,000 people migrated to Nashville to watch her perform at the stadium.
Oh, it was insane. And I remember being there and you could actually see out into the pedestrian bridge and there's all these people just watching the show from there. I mean, it was crazy.
And then speaking of just amazing shows, what's one show last year from Nashville that you went to, doesn't have to be a big name, that just left you feeling like in awe?
I would say every single time I've seen Jason Isbell at the Ryman. That is always a phenomenal show.
Would you say that creating music comes pretty easy to you today?
I would say so. And, you know, just the more you mature and write music, you just get more comfortable. You start to kind of nail down what kind of writers you want to bring in the room, just make a certain vibe, and it just makes the time way more productive.
And how many songs do you think you can expect to write this year?
Ooh, I don't know. I really do not know.
Do you go into like, I'm just assuming this because there's some people that have writing years and then they have releasing music years. Which era are you in?
Right now we're definitely in the writing. We're in the writing era, but I mean, that was especially true last year. But right now, we're kind of just fine-tuning what we want to put on the final album. We're in the elimination mode, or if we're writing with intention.
I love that. Okay, so last 2 questions of the show before we go on to your Walk the Line, which is going to be a performance here of your new music video that just released today. One more time for the applause there. Boom, waste of gas. Now, my question that I always ask every guest here has to do with imposter syndrome and how that hasn't affected them, or how, if it did affect them, how they're going forward and not letting that imposter syndrome really break everything they've put together. How do you not let imposter syndrome break you down, and how do you put one foot in front of the other every day?
I think you just have to remind yourself that you're doing what's true to yourself. That's especially true to me in the last couple of years. I'm like, I know my brand. I know what I want to put out. I know what doesn't feel authentic to me. And you just kind of have to trust your gut with that.
And what pieces of advice can you give a person that's looking to get into music business or looking to start performing out in public? What pieces of advice can you give them to not feel like, you know, numbers aren't everything?
I feel like, number one, you have to surround yourself with really good friends and a really good team. I know that's just so basic, but you really do. You need to make sure that the people that you're working with have your back, you have theirs, you guys can communicate well. because I think that that's been a really big game changer for me. And just kind of focus on you and what you can control as much as you can.
Tunnel vision. Okay. Well, speaking of tunnel vision, it's 2025. We are at the top of 2025. This is literally going to be out in T-minus like 3 days. So what do you have excited? What are you excited for the rest of 2025 and going on to kind of the end of the year?
I'm really excited for this EP. I think that, and it's just in general, releasing songs after this EP that lead up to the album, they are going to be a little bit more storytelling, I think. And they just have a completely different, I wouldn't say completely different sound, but I just love this new wave of music that I've got coming out.
I love it. Okay, well, that's El Camino. All right, well, the way we tee off your Walk the Lines, you look straight into that camera right there. You say your name and you say, this is how I walk the line. And then we're going to transition it to Waste of Gas. You ready to do it? All right, so after the applause, look straight into that camera right there.
I'm Andrea Vasquez, and this is how I walk the line.
I don't know why I have my keys. Who are you calling me this late? Sounds like you want something from me, and I've got so much to give away. You wanna love me on the low? Well, this is how it always goes. I get in the car, I drive to your place. You open the door, put your hands round my waist. You know how it starts and I know how it ends. I turn right around so we do this again. So, going to your place and back is a waste of gas, 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 waste of gas, gas, gas. You wanna tell me what you think? Well, baby, that would be a first. I second guess so many things and give you more than you deserve. When I get in the car, I drive to your place. You open the door, put your hands round my waist. You know how it starts and I know how it ends. I turn right around till we do this again. So, reliving what we had is a waste of gas, 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 waste of gas, gas, gas. I'd get in the car, I'd drive to your place. If I wanted to repeat my mistakes, you know how it starts, but this time it ends. I turn right around, we will do this again. So, living in the past, oh, going to your place and that is a waste of gas, gas.